off all day talking about Hackmotion. So,
Hackmotion, yes.
First of all, let's take a look at this thing. So I've wrapped this around my wrist with this sensor. Is that the sensor or that the sensor?
They work together because there's a relationship between this one and this one.
Okay, so we have this wrapped on my glove. You can also wrap it around your finger, right?
Around your, they give you a strap if you don't wear a glove. You can just put it on your palm.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, so tell us about Hackmotion.
All right, so the Hackmotion company, they contacted me, boy, it's probably been a couple months ago, and they sent this to us. They're not paying us to do this little video, this review, but they did give it to us, the item. And I'll tell you, when I first got it and tried to use it, we tried to basically just make a video with it without me really getting comfortable with the device, and it was tough, right?
And now you've been using it.
Oh, I love it.
Basically with every student every
day.
So
now every person that I use, I want to put them on this thing. And real simple, what it does is, and I'm gonna bring the app up. So we'll show you how to kind of set it up in case you are considering getting one of these things, or if you have one and this is helpful. So we'll set it up and then we'll get into what all of it is, right? So I'm gonna go into, on my app, the club face control. This is the Hackmotion app. And we're gonna end up having to calibrate this, I think.
Okay.
So give me a second, don't walk away quite yet because the mic's right here, right? Calibrate. All right, now let's get up near that camera. So it's in position right now, right? And then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna make a stop sign. Yes, like the Heisman Trophy, right? That's extension. Now it's calibrated, so back to work. Okay, it was easy. So you can see right here before we get going, is our graphic up here? Is that it? Up there, okay. So you can see it says address, top, and impact. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna take a reading of how much flexion or extension you have in your lead wrist in degrees at address. And for Hackmotion knows, based on research of tour players and things like that, what that wrist should be like at the top of your backswing and at impact based on how you started. So that way, no matter how you prefer to grip the club, this can be useful to help you have good club face control. And that's what this is about. Right now we're doing a club face control exercise. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start by you hitting a shot, all right?
Just one shot, huh?
Well, maybe we'll hit a couple.
Okay.
All right, now I'm gonna set this thing down in the shade so it doesn't get hot.
Okay, good idea.
All right. So you can see their top of backswing says plus 17, and it's like an orange, and then at impact, it says plus 16 in green. Okay, we'll take a break right there.
Okay.
All right, so that says plus 22 at the top, and then we have a green plus 9 at impact. So what's happening is, on these shots, go ahead and take your setup, right? And you can see when you look at the app up here, it shows the last shot at setup, she had 31 degrees of flexion at plus 31. As she starts to set up to grip it more with a flatter wrist, that number starts to go down. And you can see it changing on the bottom right-hand side. So right now she's at plus 30, 32, 33. Now she's at plus 33, all right? So based on your address position from before, right, which is 31 degrees, go ahead and take your grip, right? At your top of backswing, go ahead and take it back. You're right now at plus 60. Earlier you were at plus 58. That's 22 degrees with too much flexion, extension. Extension is cupping, flexion is bowing. Hackmotion wants you to be more this way. All right? So here's the trouble. Because I've been through this before with people trying to work with a club face. It's hard for them to feel that because feel is not real. So it's nice to have some sort of a feedback to let us know. So Hackmotion has that built in. All right. So now I'm going to enable audio feedback, and all I'm going to do is go to the bottom right of the app. And by the way, usually I use my phone for this, but this was the phone's recording, right? Hit audio feedback setup. And it says, do you want to check top of backswing or impact? And Hackmotion is suggesting we do top of backswing, which we also came up with that conclusion, right? So far we're doing pretty good too, right? So I'm going to hit turn it on. Okay. So now take your setup for me. Right? Take it to top of backswing. Hear that? So that's where, so right there is good. Now add extension. That's more like you were. Now add a ton of flexion. That would be overdoing it. Right? And you can see by looking at this camera angle, when you put a ton of bowing in that wrist, you're shutting that face like crazy. That's opening the face. So guess what most people struggle with?
Club face.
Open club face. Right? So most people are just tons of extension at the top. But if you tend to give too much flexion, you're too flat, this helps you with that too. So let's practice a couple backswings trying to get the feel for getting it so that thing sings to you. Piece of cake, right? And again, Lauren, this is not a cookie cutter. This is based off of your address position where you should be at the top.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
My impact position is fine.
Yeah.
Why do I have to worry about the top of my backswing?
Why would you think? Any idea?
My club face.
Well, it's just that we want consistency.
Okay.
So if you're wide open at the top and you're figuring out a way to square it and get a decent impact position, sometimes
It's not going to be consistent.
yeah, like if this is a driver, it'd be harder, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is, and this is what I found, is I worked with someone yesterday who's a good golfer, and once he got used to this thing, his backswing got crisp, everything was on the money, and he was just flushing it because his club face was stable all the way through because he had really good club face control. And it just happened from him understanding where he should be right there.
Okay.
Right? Let's hit one. You want me to turn that audio thing off?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to turn that off. So I just go back down the bottom, hit audio feedback, and say stop that. All right, here we go. It sounded good. All right, so there we go. So on that one, at the top of the backswing, you actually bowed it a little too much. 5 degrees too much. And then at impact,
2 degrees.
I'm sorry, 2 degrees too much. And then at impact, you had 5 degrees too much bowing of your lead wrist, which makes sense, right?
Yes.
Right? Also, you'll notice, now these numbers are pretty good,
Yeah.
right? At address, you had 38 degrees of flexion. At impact, less. That's always going to happen.
Okay.
All right, and then one more thing I want to point out. When we swing the club, go ahead and take your, you know what, maybe, I hate to make it more complicated, and I'm not going to show you, all right? But there are graphs in here that show what tour players do, and this is in the pro version. Well, what happens is they get up to the top. They don't just flat out increase flexion. They increase the flexion, but then when you get down towards impact, it starts to work closer to extension. So we do not want to drag the handle coming through.
Okay.
Very extreme cases you may want to do that, but especially for somebody like you don't want to be thinking that. If you're having too much extension at impact, the answer isn't necessarily to drag it through. It's probably getting started by adding a little more flexion, a little more bowing of that lead wrist.
Okay.
Okay. Try one more, even though you just pretty much nailed it. Let's see if we can get right on track, right on it. Do you want to turn the audio back on?
No.
No? Okay. She doesn't like that. But you got it.
I got it.
So when you're thinking about how your wrists are working, you may not hit the flushest shots in practice, but that's a good feel for what you want to have right there.
Okay.
Really good stuff. And it helps you just get a really good understanding, too, of how your wrists are working in your golf swing. Any questions on that?
I don't think so.
What do you think?
Pretty good.
Think it's a winner?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I think it is too. So I think we're going to try to get a link too. There'll probably be a link in here if you want to check it out, and maybe if you purchase one, we can help you do that. I really like the product. Thank you, Hackmotion, for sending this over. We'll hope that helps.
See you next time.